Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah, this already we discussed. No? Okay, this is about the E bar wave. This is the unpolarized EM wave. This is what actually the antenna will generate to make students to have very good simple imagination. We have in the books we have shown. Nobody will generate this. It has to be modified using polarides. I will convert into linearly polarized EM wave. So definitely in exam they will test it because every book has given this one only. So you think that okay the uh, EM wave generator antenna or that one will generate? No, every equipment will generate this one only. By using polarization, I'll convert into the above diagram. So E bar and B bar will be rotating. So what is the diagram of this unpolarized? E bar will be rotating in a YZ plane. This is the thing. And they will propagate and also they vary with the time. They propagate along x-axis and vary with the time. All three will occur. So in polarization, we'll focus in detail. So there's a basic idea of that EM wave generated. Okay, now I'm interested in this as we know electrostatics. In a region where there's electric field, there must be energy. Come for like this. There's a E bar, no? In a region where there's a magnetic field, there must be energy. So I'm interested now the energy of EM wave. Got this? I think will there's a basic thing that one. So we'll go for the energy of an EM wave. What we know energy density formula, no? So I'm deriving an expression for intensity of an EM wave. What is this EM wave made up of? A varying electric and magnetic fields. So energy density UE is what? The total energy density UD, I'll write it. Should be equal to sum of energy density due to electric field and the magnetic field. What is energy density due to electric field of epsilon naught E square plus magnetic energy density B square by 2 mu naught. But we know some basic idea. What is that like? What are these waves? They are varying sinusoidally, you know. So whenever if a quantity varies harmonically, we express RMS values. So the same energy density is expressed as RMS values here. I think, yeah, let it be that one. So what is ERMS? E naught by root 2. What is BRMS? B naught by root 2. Substituting that, the energy density will be half epsilon naught E naught by root 2 whole square epsilon naught E naught square by 4 . Okay, let's go back. Yesterday we brought some very historical things, no, like B naught C is equal to E naught, and C is equal to 1 by root of mu naught epsilon naught. This is from wave equation. This is what we derived from where this C equal to 1 by root of mu epsilon from wave equation, because it satisfies the wave equation. So what is the speed of the EM wave given by this particular formula? In free space it is. This is in any medium we give expression. So let's try to replace. So let's take help of the mathematics involved. So what is the energy density of epsilon naught? Let me equate, let me see that what proportion these two energies are. Okay, this shall I equate? No, what is E naught? E naught should be B naught C. So epsilon naught B naught whole square by 4. So C square. So what is C square? You can write it as 1 by mu epsilon naught. So it is what it is equal to. Energy density of magnetic field only. So therefore, when an EM wave propagates, what proportion in these two will be equal? No, how much of electric field energy is there, that much of magnetic field energy will be there. So finally, I ended this one. And what is the magnetic energy density formula? B naught square by 4 mu naught. So therefore, so what shall I write here? So in an EM wave, what is the proportion? Both will be in equal proportion. In an EM wave, the magnetic and electric field energy will be in equal proportion. Both will be in equal proportion. That's what we are concluding. So therefore, this final equation, what we can write, energy density is equal to half epsilon naught E naught square by 4. Shall we write in terms of electric energy density only? Total, this should be equal to epsilon naught E naught square by 4. Okay, this is a total electric energy density, or so total energy density of EM wave. Now, usually what happens, what to be known, either if you are writing in terms of E naught, okay. Let me write, and we know E naught is equal to ERMS. These ideas, I'll write it separately. So energy density is equal to epsilon naught to, what is E naught? We can write it as just equal to only this much, no? Or in terms of magnetic energy density. This can be also write in other way. B naught square by 2 mu naught. And what is B naught is equal to? Either of the form, the energy density of an
ARMS square.
square term missing. Okay, yeah, fine, thank you. Okay, this I think you have to remember. Either you can express in terms of ERMS or BRMS. Usually we prefer ERMS. Why like that? Because to detect magnetic field, the equipment's need is of large size, even till date. The detectors which will detect magnetic field, what happen, the equipments, what happen to detect magnetic field, direction, everything, no? You might have seen this in terrestrial magnetism. To find out B on a earth, tell me what all we did. First, you should calculate BH. And for BH, what happened? Vibration magnetometer to calculate dip. Then a dip circle. Getting the idea. Then declination. For that freely suspended magnet. 3 equipments. You see that one. To measure the B of a Earth at a given point, we need 3 equipments. The same thing happens with even the EM wave. To detect that EM wave, if you take the B bar of an EM wave, the equipment will be large in size. How much of large means it may go up to the room size. Huh? You need a optical, you need a microwave bench. It's called like a microwave bench, that one. You need like equipment which is filled up in a room. That's why open. The E bar of an EM wave is more easier to measure than B bar. We can measure B bar, but the equipments are costlier and large in size. Very difficult to carry them, implement there, use them. E bar very easy. Okay, that's the primary reason. That's why in the maximum books, no, they didn't even some books they didn't bother to express energy density in terms of this. Nothing wrong because keeping practical things in mind, this is preferred, no. So therefore, they express only in terms of this. Okay, I agree this one. So the energy density either you can express in this or this. So we'll put it therefore. Okay, this is about energy density. How much of energy is present in a volume? How much of energy is present in a given volume? Because I have to go for intensity idea. So let this be delta A, area of cross section. Let this be length L. What is the length L? The wave will propagate in this direction. So what is this length L should be equal to, shall we write C into delta T? It will take some interval of time to propagate through this region. So here EM wave is present. So what is the energy? How we put it here, like, average energy density to volume. This is, I think, average, no? Am I right? Already we discussed in wave propagation. This is the average energy density. So what is the total energy, average energy? So this average energy should be equal to average energy density into volume of this cylinder. Average energy density. So let me take ERMS. So epsilon naught ERMS square. Okay, this is equal to what is the length of the cylinder? L into delta A. Or further, this is epsilon naught ERMS square. What is L? C delta T. And how we define intensity? Energy flowing normally per unit area per unit time. Energy flowing normally per unit area so that energy will flow here. I should not show direction for energy just for our understanding purpose. There is a direction of flow. So therefore, what is the expression for intensity? Energy bar per unit area per unit time. So this everything will become epsilon naught ERMS square C delta T delta A. So if you are bringing ERMS in terms of E naught, the same expression for intensity. Epsilon naught and E naught, please be alert. Or if you are expressing in terms of C B naught square by 2 mu naught. This is the expression for intensity of EM wave. Okay, I agree this. So there's a one either E naught or B naught, what is available, take help of that and you can predict here. Now, will it carry any momentum? S, the radiation momentum it will have. So what is the momentum? Energy by total energy by the speed of light. So and so like a momentum, it will carry momentum, or h by lambda, like they predict here, the momentum. Since it's a wave, no, so we don't go for momentum. If it's a photon, we define the momentum. Since we are talking about the wave, we are not bothered anything about photons. So like how many photons? Okay, let's not discuss, because we are discussing the wave nature of your EM wave. I agree with this. So now, will it, if this particular wave incident any surface, will it exert any force? Yes, then from that we'll get the radiation pressure, and that should be equal to what? Intensity. If it is high by C, complete absorption. And what is the radiation pressure if it's reflected? So they may test you with these things, this EM wave when it is incident, no? So I is what? The intensity. So what is the pressure, radiation pressure? So that radiation pressure is what? Force per unit area. So like that you can calculate the force exerted by the incident EM wave. Okay, this is about the basic thing. And if you look at the light is an EM wave only. And the electric field of a electromagnetic wave is responsible for its optical effect. I think I'll just put some, the E bar of EM wave is responsible for his optical effect. We will write it in separate here. Okay, now light is what? Light is an EM wave. So then how do that particular thing, the E bar vector of EM wave is responsible for the optical effect. And EM wave, can it undergo refraction, deflection? Yes, this one, the EM wave. Undergoes reflection, reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction, all the properties of light, what we study, all that you can apply for EM wave also. So they may test you with respect to EM wave, all that particular thing. Even the interference, I'm telling, standing wave. So we may get, if there's a conducting medium, so can we get any standing waves as standing wave corresponding to an EM wave can be obtained. And the conducting medium should be a node. So all the things. So when I say similar to wave, means all the similar to what we discussed standing wave, the EM wave, the superposition of two EM waves. So one, this is the incident wave, this is a reflected wave. They'll undergo superposition, we'll get in a standing wave. So there's a conductor between two conducting walls. So we'll get an EM wave. There's an incident EM wave, there's a reflected wave. Then again, if you take this a conducting surface, if you send an EM wave, suppose say how do we take this EM wave? So usually we do represent by what, like E bar and B bar vector. So if this is E bar, polarized thing is what I'm discussing. Oh, yeah. B bar, I'll put out of the plane. After reflection, we get like this, no? So this is the incident wave. After reflection, okay, there's an incident EM wave, there's a reflected EM wave. then then a part of wave will get reflected. So what will happen to the reflected wave? This is V bar. So this is refracted. And if you look at the energy, this E bar vector should be slightly less, no? A part of energy will be reflected, a part will be refracted here. So there's a boundary. The same like what all you studied, no, that you can apply for EM wave here. So you have to show that E bar and B bar, and they'll be always perpendicular. There's a direction of propagation. V1 you call it, first medium, in this medium, V2. This is standing waves. They will give some the expression for incident wave, so that this will be node, 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 node. So any of the things can be asked here. So you have to pick the moment I say wave, so bring all the ideas of the waves. When I say reflection, refraction, bring all the ideas of optics, they can mix up for you. So they may ask you analyze for EM wave. There's a way what you're supposed to do here. Now you're getting no. So here I'll just ask you some generalized thing. If I give EX, then is it possible EX BY? Then in what direction the wave is propagating? Wave is propagating along Z axis. Agreed? If I similarly write like this, EY BX, shall I say wave is propagating along Z axis? I'll give components, this one. So third one. With this, what you can say? The wave is propagating along Y axis. Able to analyze this one? Always the E bar vector and B bar vector should be directed perpendicular. I'm talking about this a polarized EM wave. Unpolarized, what means the E bar, B bar vector will be rotating in a plane perpendicular to direction of propagation, and both will be mutually perpendicular. For polarized waves, the E bar will be confined to one plane and B bar will be confined to another plane. We'll discuss in detail in polarization. Time being, you can have this much of idea. So for unpolarized wave, what is the, I think somewhere here, I'll go back to this. Let me, E bar, B bar will rotate in a YZ plane and they propagate along X axis and vary with time. Or what does it mean? The E bar and B bar will be mutually perpendicular. I'll add up that sentence, one more, that one. Vary with the time. Okay, fine. It should be like this. So they may ask you very good questions just only to, is it unpolarized or polarized EM wave? I think that you have to identify. Okay, I think we were somewhere here, no? So can you identify if they give like this? So last one more, propagating along Z. Already X-axis we have seen, no? So like this, the possibility. So it's not possible that, is it possible? Not possible, no? How E bar and B bar will be along same direction? E bar and B bar must be that one.
The second and fourth are same.
Okay, that one. EY, the BZ, huh? It should be BZ. Yeah. This is not possible, no? Like this should not happen. No.
It should be EZ BX. Fourth one, EZBX.
EZ and BX. Huh? Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. And now your task question, sir. Is it always that E bar and B bar vector will be along certain axis only? Can't be they like this? Blue, we use this one, no? They're perpendicular. No? I had to show that they're perpendicular. First condition. E bar vector. B bar vector. How the wave is propagating not along z axis, no? At least I'm sure. So the wave will be somewhere propagating in this direction. So this will be the direction of propagation of wave. E bar is not along y axis. B bar is not along z axis. E bar lies in xy plane. B bar lies in, we should not say yz plane. E bar lies in xy plane and B bar lies in minus x plus y plane. Or this will be more confusion diagram 3D. I'll make it just a plane. I think that will be sufficient. It can happen like this also. No. Of course, it is propagating along now which axis? Along z axis. But E bar and B bar, they're not along the axis. It can happen. I can orient the B bar like this. So all possibilities are there. Or you can propagate in a space. Here we are confined, it is propagating along z axis. Wave is okay. Now how to show that wave propagating along in a plane? What happened? We go for a general representation like this here. K vector. This K vector is called a propagation vector. Wave vector, or also called as propagation vector. Very important. If a wave propagates along x-axis, k dot x bar, how much it will become? Only kx. If a wave propagates in a space, then this propagation vector will become very useful for us. So how to express that? It will be like this: kx. Again, it will have kx, ky, kz value that should be defined. Okay, now see, is it propagating along x-axis? No. You look at the k bar. So the equation will become very simple when it is propagating along x-axis. Then these two will not exist here. Will not exist. Then k dot x, k bar and x bar will be in same direction. So it will become simple equation kx minus omega t. This is in exponential form, complex number what we have. This is sinusoidal one. So x y of zt. So no, I think you must realize this. E bar. Don't try this. Then okay, this one. And how this E bar will be directed along y-axis or z-axis? It all depends upon that condition. They may ask you any question. Just be alert. I'll update few questions on this one. Okay, now after this, what is the expression for intensity of wave in different medium? So a slight discussion will make it. It's there for syllabus, I'm not sure. Let's have some basic idea, then we'll see. I think just only we know some little bit about electrostatics, other things, first year. If the wave propagates in a free space, EM wave in different mediums. The first one, free space. For free space, what will happen? Conductivity will be 0. Epsilon will become epsilon naught and mu will become mu naught. Then what is the expression for intensity? Intensity will become is that okay? So this in terms of ERMS, if you want to bring, you can bring or F naught E naught square by 2. I brought this particular thing. F C will be there, no? Wait. Or you can express also in terms of magnetic field. This should be equal to C B naught square by 2 mu naught. This is in free space. Then what is the expression for speed? Speed will be 1 by root of mu naught epsilon naught. In free space, what is the speed of the wave? Equal to speed of light. Next again. In a lossless dielectric, conductivity will be 0. Epsilon will become epsilon r, epsilon naught, and mu will become mu r, mu epsilon naught. And we'll put a condition as it is lossless. Omega into sigma will be very much less than this particular thing. What about the intensity expression will be? It will become epsilon naught, epsilon r, C E naught square by 2. This is again like a lossless dielectric. Again, the dielectric, there are two types of that. Transparent dielectric, example glass. What is the mu r for glass? Will be 1. It all depends upon, again, the lossless dielectric, the conditions are there. Suppose if a ray of light propagating through a glass, what is the mu r for glass? Will be 1. Whereas the epsilon r will be different. The speed of the wave will be different. Since we bother more about intensity electric field, no, I'll just focus only on electric field, because the B bar, B naught is a quantity which we cannot, we can measure, but will a very costly thing. Equipments, costly equipment, size, everything matters. So that's why the books, they focused more on intensity in terms of electric field only. Now, what is the expression for speed? I'll put a special condition. Okay, here I wrote mu r, let mu r equal to 1 for glass. So what is the speed of the wave will become? V equal to C by yesterday's class, I think we derived these things, no? Expression for speed of the wave in any medium is given by this particular formula. For a glass, you have to use this particular formula. Any medium, what is refractive, what is the relative permittivity of that particular glass medium, that you have to substitute. We brought in terms of refractive index. Don't get confused with refractive index here. So therefore, what is the refractive index now? The root of this should be the refractive index. Mu, again, don't get confused. It's not a refractive index. It's a relative permeability of medium. For a glass, since it is equal to 1, we substitute here. Lossy dielectric. Means where some conductivity will be there. Lossy dielectric means what, when, where if a wave propagates through it, some energy will be absorbed by the medium. So then expression for speed of the wave will be mu r epsilon r, then expression for intensity, the same thing. Then as the wave propagates, energy will be, energy of EM wave decreases. Lossy dielectric as wave propagates, energy of EM wave decreases as medium absorbs energy. We let's not go in detail. It's a very what you say dynamics of EM wave. It is like a electromagnetic dynamic what you can say like a electromagnetism, that one dynamic electromagnetism. What all we study is a static one. So these are very, I think we have to put lot of mathematics. Everything will come in vectors. So that's why everything we are just confining ourselves to just formula based here. Okay, this is, I think, third one. Now, what about the conductors? Conductors, what happens? The sigma will be infinity. The relative permittivity will be 1. And mu equal to mu naught, mu r. Here, sigma will be very much greater than, with respect to EM wave, here discuss, not with respect to electric field. Again, don't get confused. I know that in, we put infinity, no? Epsilon r. So with respect to EM wave, we are analyzing it. Dynamic electric fields. Varying electric fields we are discussing, not static electric fields. So don't get tempted to write here infinity. Here. So what will happen to the EM wave? Can it propagate in a conducting medium? Yes, it will propagate here. Conductivity will be very high, or say infinity. And the speed of the EM wave, in terms of this, we can write it as V equal to C. Mu r will come into picture there. So the magnetic property matters a lot. Sigma will be very much greater than this quantity. Or so EM wave, what will happen? Can it pass through a conducting medium? Next, another condition will come, that one. And what is the mu r for conductors? Very high, no? So what is the speed of EM wave? Will be very less. So that's why. So if you take the EM wave, what happen? You want to block it. Yes, you can take help of the conductors. Any, I think just confined to formulas, not discussed in NCERT or SC Verma book. I just give some additional information. I myself don't know whether they are there for syllabus or not. I'm not very sure. Just some additional information, you can take it. Okay, so this is about the EM wave. Just practice. I think in icon some good questions are there. Just practice it. I'll start the diffraction. Where we are. Yeah. You should be that EM spectrum. I think already in chemistry you might have come across. You just go through once and all. So there is no any specific boundary. No, how do we differentiate that EM spectrum based on what mean the generation and detection? So how do that EM spectrum is classified based on the generation and the detection is what is being classified. So what are the type of questions you check the mains advance like a for television broadcasting, what is the frequency that is being used in EMN spectrum for fax application, then for mobile communication, for then next X-rays. So like that, and what is the ultraviolet wavelength? So like that, they're asking some directly the data which is there in NCERT book. You have to remember that no other way. And that has given IS priority. Next comes displacement current. Next comes intensity of EM wave. Something like wave characteristics like standing wave, reflection, refraction. These are the things. So these are the ways which you should analyze this particular topic here. Okay, I'll start the diffraction. Not there, diffraction. Nothing. Okay, now some you can say the a beautiful topic of optics. It's not there in advance, but really you can say that one. What all we have the applications of optical instruments now, they revolve around this diffraction only. Diffraction polarization. They are the most beautiful topics of the optics here. So today we'll start with the diffraction theory. Theory is what we'll try to focus today's class. So basically, what is the diffraction now? Bending of ray of light when it encounters sharp edges. So just come again the sir here, what property of light you are taking help of that one? That's what we see that. Will it, are you discussing the wave nature or particle nature in the diffraction? Okay, that we'll see in the experiment. What particular property the light will exhibit when it encounters sharp edges, that we are going to analyze here. And this diffraction theory, what it will support, wave nature, particle, because now we know both the natures of light that we are going to analyze in the experiment here. No? So bending of ray, there's a difference between scattering as well as diffraction. Means like a how do we can feel, means like a, can we really see? As I think if you are sitting in your room, no, and look at the shadow formed over the light coming from tube light. You look at your shadow, that one. Is this shadow well defined? What do you mean by sir well defined? Well defined means are you seeing the complete dark and complete dark region? So nothing, no. So we never see. You can keep your arm against the tube light and look at the shadow. That one, you don't see well defined that one. So I'll start with a very simple. I think you can. Okay, there's a source of tube light, because I think most of you have this white light. No, let me give that as an example. And you are going to keep your arm. It's a thumb. The light will come. It's a white light. A white light I can't show it, so therefore I am. Okay, let me show dotted lines. Again, the shadow I have to show it. This one. Okay, there's a light. So what is our hand? Hand is an opaque object, no? It will not permit the light to pass through it. So here what we are going to see the shadow, that one, how the shadow will be. So where shadow on the screen or you have kept something screen or say like on the ground and anything it will be. This one, so I'll call this as a screen. Screen or floor, better. A person and will be that person. I'm not showing it. There's the floor. We see the shadow. How the shadow will be? Will it be well defined like this? The answer is no. The shadow will not be well defined. So how the we see dark regions. I'll try my level to give better diagram. Actually, this is what our expected shadow should be known, but the shadow will not be there. Inside, complete dark will come, and outer edges will not be dark, will have it is not X-ray. Huh? It's not X-ray. There's a shadow. That should be the nature of shadow. I think that's the best thing what you can experience. And just keep and look at the shadow. Complete dark, you never see. You can see blurred. This at the boundaries now you can see blood. If you are able to analyze, okay, fine. Because I can't show because the camera resolution will not permit me to show that. Or you can go outside, stand in sunlight. You don't see complete dark. But what is expected? Complete dark, no, like this black color. Because what is this body? This body is an opaque object, no. It is a purely an opaque object. It's like an opaque object. It will not permit the light to pass through it. Am I right? Then what is expected? Only that black, complete dark region is expected. But along with that, what happen? We'll get like some less darker region. What is that less darker region? I'm showing by ash gray, something of like this, and less darker region. So why this is due to diffraction? Any reason for that? Because the light, when it arrives here, the light when it arrives here. So the light when it arrives here, it will encounter the edges, and due to that, what happens? The light starts bending. Due to that bending, what happens? Here complete dark should come. Some light will enter. Here no light. What about some light enter? So we have to give reason. No light. Some light entered. That's why this will come. So why this is bending of light? So when the light passes through this, all of you, if you have seen yourself, if your image, or just keep your hand, I think fingers, no, you can differentiate. Your fingers or pen will appear blurred image, that one. Now, later on, I'll update the images. Now, I'll take with mobile, I'll take the photograph. You can see that one. So that's why this is due to diffraction. Okay, got this. So there's a one thing. Or you stand in sunlight, try to look at your shadow. Shadow will not be completely dark. So therefore, what is the diffraction we should define? Bending of ray of light at the sharp edges is called as the diffraction. Shall we put it like this? Or encroachment of light into the blocked region, means it was not supposed to, the light should not be there here, but some encroachment occurred. Encroachment, what do you mean encroachment? Occupying that, though this particular and what pen will block the light due to diffraction, what pen the light will enter. So encroachment of light.
Shadow
Encroachment of light into the unwanted regions is called like a diffraction. In terms of English language, we can define in that way also. This is hand. Somebody asks what it is. Your hand, harm. This is a source of light. Let me give few more examples. I'll do one thing. I'll take a sharp object. Some wooden block. I'll take it. There's a purely wooden block. I'll keep a point source of light. There's a screen. What do you expect? There's a wood. Wood. I think will give some wood color. Yeah. What do you expect? The wood will allow the light to pass through it, and here I kept a bulb, white light. Let's assume that one. LED bulb. And tell me what do you expect, and the screen. What you expect here? On the screen, what should be that one? So definitely what happened? According to the ideal, according to the wave optics, or also according to the geometrical optics, we say that AB should be shadow, and next there should be light, no? Because here light can go and incident. So in this region, AB, no light, or you can say shadow. And in this region, there'll be light as expected. As expected. So what is this? Geometrical optics. Or rectilinear propagation of light. But practically what will happen? There'll be encroachment of light will take place here. So here, so we think like this, the light, what will happen? Okay, to show black, some Light and no light, no? So this will do one thing, we'll make it, light means yellow color, we'll have. Throughout this, we'll make it like where light is present, no, we'll make it yellow color. It'll be easy for us. This won't account our geometrical optics we say, no? So now this is what we expected. So here what happened, the light here will encroach here. Till A dash, it will encroach. Why do that? Because of bending of ray of light. Actually, light should be there here. It will go and strike the wood. I'm not showing that one because I'm not interested in that part. But if you look at the brightness, the brightness at B dash will be less than B. And complete dark is what I had to show it here. Complete dark here, complete black color. Able to get these colors? At least one diagram, if you understand, I think it's over. This chapter will get over. It's very easy for you. According to the geometrical optics, sort of in the region, AB should be the complete dark, no? But practically what happened? We see this thing where the complete dark, and here encroachment of light. So here is what you should call AB as a complete shadow, but the AA dash what happened will not be completely dark. So there'll be light here, no light here. Or semi-dark or some amount of light is present. Able to get this. So why do that in A dash? Why there's some light? Because of bending of ray of light here. Here bending occurs. Bending of ray of light occurs at edges. Okay, got this? So I'll later on show that there's a complete dark. Here also it will be complete dark. This is what practical. I think, oh, as expected. Yeah. So this is what practical. Now tell me like this diffraction, what it's supposed, wave nature or particle nature? The wave nature, no? Because according to geometrical optics, they'll just go straight. AB should be the shadow. This is what expected, but practically this is what happens here. So here the ray starts bending. So the ray optics will become invalid here. So that purpose, so therefore, this diffraction phenomena supports the wave nature of light. Okay, there's a one thing. Okay, next we'll go for one more diagram I'll give. So if there is a slit, and there's a screen, I'll keep a source of light here. What do we expect? Again, if you look at the light, I'm showing that yellow color line. So we expect only in this region, no? Here I kept a source. I'll put a boundary. So the light what will pass through that slit, we'll expect here. So where do we can see brightness? That everything should be bright. According to our what we know, ray optics. We just say that this everything should be bright here, and the remaining everything should be the dark. But practically what happened, this light starts bending this one. So this is what we think that A, B, A dash, B dash. So from here complete dark. So here a light starts encroaching into the other region also. Why do that? Because a bending will occur there. I'll put a boundaries. I think that yellow everything has become. So let me put boundaries. No. What should be the illumination there? So it should be. So will not be complete bright there. Some amount of light will enter into A dash, and some amount of light due to diffraction at the edge at the slit will enter into BB dash. So where we see complete dark, the complete dark where we see afterwards, after BB dash. Oh, 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 oh. This is what happens in a lab. You can do this in home, no, not in a lab. You can do such things in home. So here what happened? Like a what all light, this one here less light. Now, what do we expect? Here, there should not be light, no, according to the ray optics. So why here encroachment of light? Just write that word so that reflect a lot of information. Why do this? It starts bending. It will not bend here. It will bend at these edges. So this is slit. Later on do adjustment here. So got this one. So these are some examples is what we are giving. Okay, let's take some diagram. I brought it. So where do we see practically, sir? Is it visible? It's some. This also you can try in your home. So if you just go to the dark room, so switch off all the lights, windows, put curtains, everything. So there's an opaque object. Here there's an opaque object. Keep it here. So source of light. Nowadays we have mobile, no? Switch on that LED torch light of mobile. Focus it here. Then so when you and keep that screen or put your wall is a screen, weaving screen or make it still more practical wall. So what is this? On the wall, what happened? You can see the pattern of this kind. Why there is a why there is a complete dark? Because no light, no. There'll be some encroachment will occur. So that's what we can see the bands here. So here we can see the complete dark. Then afterwards, what will happen? We'll get a white and dark bands like this, strips, like similar to the interference pattern. But here, the maximas and minimas, they will have different width. So this thing you can notice. But sir, what is this opaque object? You take better knife or nail, something. It should be sharp enough. So it should be like this, huh? Where this edge should be sharp. I think nowadays we have knife who will hit non-veg in. They'll be having a wife, not wife, huh? Sorry, knife. Huh? So they'll be having a knife like this, no? To break that bones, flesh easily into pieces, no? This type of knife is what they'll take it. This knife, what happen? You can keep it here and make that light to be incident. You can get it. What is a sharp object? That's what you mean to say. It should be like this. So you have to keep it here. So we'll get an ear pattern of this kind. And there's a one thing what you can verify in your home. This will be the complete dark band. Then white dark bands will be produced here. So it's not there for syllabus, but possibility of asking. Just only pattern. Why the pattern like this? Let's not bother. Next, these are something experimental. A very generalized thing in your home. Doors, no. So door, what happened through that particular opening here? There's an opening here, the gap, no. So when sunlight falls, so here open the light will undergo the diffraction. You can see this. So what is this, from where it is coming? So due to this gap. Then only one, what do we expect? Is there one gap or plenty of several gaps like this? The door, is it like this? No, the door open is everything here, cardboard, here's narrow gap is there. Through this narrow gap, when the light enters, what happens? It will undergo diffraction, it form fringes, like similar to interference pattern. And this on the wall, this is the floor, huh? This part is the floor. This not that gap. So light entering to the gap will undergo the diffraction and spreading will occur like this. Okay, you can try this. I think morning you can experience this morning and evening. Please mute it. No, please mute it. No, another natural thing. Water flowing through particular coming from ocean or narrow gap. So there what happen here, it starts spreading. It will start spreading here. So in rainy season, when rain comes, no, nothing but there, the diffraction will take place here. So the water is coming here, it will start spreading. But sir, you said light, yes, even water also is a matter, no, it will have dual nature, start spreading. You push electrons, they'll also get diffracted. Next, another thing is, this in the evening you can notice the diffraction. When the light passes through the clouds, will undergo diffraction, and we see this here, this particular thing, no? dark bright bands. So today evening you can around, I think 4:30. After 4:30, from 4:30, after 4:30 you can go and notice that one. If it's a cloudy, yes, you can really feel that one. So you can see that bright dark rays like this. Here bright, here dark. This one. What is this? Diffraction. Who will diffract? The clouds. What cloud made up of? Molecules, water molecules. So the gap between the molecules will act like a slit, and the light passing through it will undergo diffraction. Good idea. So we do have many things, and just keep your harm against the tube light or go outside sunlight. No, your shadow formed by the arm will not be complete dark. Again, to explain the diffraction, we do have two types of diffraction. One, Fresnel, another is the Fraunhofer. What we discuss is, our syllabus is Fraunhofer. Now for that weapon, this is source. I'll keep a converging lens here. So I'll keep this source at focus. I'll keep the source at focus, and after convergence, the rays will become parallel and they'll undergo refraction. Again, I'll get an image here. And that particular pattern formed will be of this kind. Are you noticing this? Not it's a line. Completely will get like this. There's a fringe. This will be the diffraction pattern. This is the core central idea. The pattern is like this. Keeping the pattern, I'm going to bring the mathematics to explain. So in YDSC, we started with mathematics, we explain pattern, but here diffraction, we have a pattern. Everyone will notice this. So like, can I do this in ohm? So you need slit. Tell me where the slit, the blades. Today you can try this in the ohm. Not green color. If you take green color laser, you'll get green color. If you take red color laser, you'll get the red color pattern. This is what happens for you in the Fraunhofer diffraction. What is the source? Source is almost like with respect to slit. You see that one with respect to slit. The rays are incident parallel, so almost like a source at infinity. And after refraction, so there's like a parallel. So where the rays are now, so they're almost like incident on screen parallelly. So source at infinity and the screen at infinity. Infinity in the sense the rays are incident parallel. After refraction, they'll merge at a point. Fresnel diffraction not there, but it's a theoretical idea is there. We don't go for in depth. Just small basics, I'll discuss that one. Because practically we go for Fraunhofer, the Fresnel diffraction, lot of mass is involved. Okay, I'll get a pattern. So this pattern we can see here. No, what is the Fresnel where the source is kept at a certain distance and the screen is kept at finite distance? I'll get a pattern. Lot of mass is involved. The pattern will be like this. Huh? Just I'm showing it this. So in fact, it will spread everywhere. It will be spreading here. So of course, sir, what is the difference between these two? You can see the pattern. The bright and dark, the dark bands will not be completely well defined. Here will be well defined. So therefore, we prefer this particular thing. So just have a firm idea. So let's get into the diffraction. What is there for syllabus? So first what we do is like, what is the pattern? So here, okay, this is slit, ray of lights. And, let me take yellow color as a light, so it will be easy for me. It's a purely diagram based topic. Through diagrams only, it will be very easy for you to understand. And let this be a screen. No, how the pattern? So first we'll go for the pattern here. There's a midpoint. Like this, we'll get several maximas, minimas. I'm showing few. Similar to interference pattern only. There will be the maxima. This will be called as central maxima. This will be the first dark band. There's the first bright band. D2, B2, D3, B3. It will be symmetric. This will be B1. So, okay, D1, this is B1. Like this, the center, and it's called like a central maxima. This everything is called a central maxima. I'll write it here. No, the interference pattern and this one are totally different. And there's a width of the slit. So how do this particular pattern will be obtained? There's a core idea. So there's a width of slit everywhere. I think I'll be taking help of this first basic diagram. Width of slit. There's the incident light. Monochromatic will take it. And there's a slit. So opening. It's a cardboard. In that I'll put an opening. And it's a slit. And what is slit? A rectangular slit. So what is this? This is there's a variation of intensity. How the pattern on the screen will be. If you can just accept the pattern, it'll be easy for us. So I'm directly showing first the pattern. So here there's a D1. Now this is called as central maxima. I think I'll take yellow color from this. And so this is not up to the mark. So I'm just showing some rough pattern. Bright and dark bands will be like this. So here you have to call this as everything as central maxima. There's a central maxima. There's a first dark band. Complete dark will not be there. I think all of you. So similar to the interference pattern, the similar idea. Where it be completely dark at the midpoint of that. Okay, we have a lot of things we have to justify. Okay, we have drawn diagram, but we have to justify a lot of things here. Okay, first thing, this is what the central maxima. This is the first dark band. This is the first bright band. Is it pattern similar to interference? No. And this is second dark band. Second bright band. So this was the pattern. It will be like this here. Where it will be completely dark at the midpoint. At the midpoint of the first dark band is what D1. So where we have to show that D1 you have to show like this. Agree this B1 you have to show like this. Not up to the scale pattern. This one D2, B2, D1, B1, D2, B2. And if you look at the intensity of all bright bands will not be same. You look at this. So if intensity at this point and this point, I had to show here less intensity. Of course, the diagram, what I have, I'm just showing the intensity everywhere same, but even the intensity should be different here. Means what will be the width? Width will be same. The width of all dark bands will be same. But the intensity open of the bright bands open keep on decreases. So if you look at the intensity at B1 and B2, the intensity at B2 will be less than P1. You are able to see this? The intensity what happened keeps on decreases. And what about the width? This width equal to the intensity of all bright dark bands will be different. But what is the width? All bright and dark bands will have same width. And look at the central maxima. It is having different width compared to bright and dark bands. So therefore, I'll give a name. I'll call them as secondary maxima and minimas. What first I should accept the pattern. Sir, how do you can justify? How do you can justify all this? Okay, you can do one thing in ohm. You can take a blades. This everyone can do, but you don't get a well-defined pattern. What I do? Some design will be there inside. This will be the blade, no? I think will be like this. I think in Siorma or other NCT book he has given. So there's a blade. Now, what is the slit? You're going to cut that into two parts. There's a blade, no? Cut that into two parts, or you can take two blades. It's left to you, that one. So you bring. You bring them very close like this. So what they will form? Shall I say they'll form a slit? The gap between will become a slit. So that slit is what I'll show by some color. The small narrow gap, no, they will become a slit. And you pass the light through it. By adjusting this narrow gap, you can see the pattern. And what you should do, you should focus that light to pass through this one. So definitely open, you should block this particular region. Huh? You have to block this particular region. If the light passes here and here, open, you don't see pattern. You have to block this upper part and lower part. So what you should do is with a cardboard or something or paper, you put some paper and stick on with plaster something. And similarly, what you can do it here. Okay, what is visible now? Only that gap. You can try this. That's a very simple everyone. And 50 rupees is what you just go to any bookshop. No laser gun. You ask a red color one. I'll show it. Huh? Or tomorrow I'll show it. No time now there. Okay, like this one. So now what happen? You focus that laser gun in this particular gap. Sir, how to hold to that one? So you fix, you take some bottle, anything on that. You can fix up one blade here. The other blade, what happen? You fix it up. Or cardboard, better to stick to the cardboard. Better to the, you take cardboard, make a oh like this. Then fix these blades here. So this will be one blade. This will be another blade. The narrow gap is what? This one. But one should be movable. Huh? Like that you have to do adjustment, or you can move it, or you ask your any family member to move it, and you focus that particular laser beam in this one. You see the pattern. So what do you expect actually? According to the ray optics, what we know. So what do we expect the pattern? The pattern on the screen. So what we think is, since we use red color, no, so we don't see perfect like this. Huh? Sir, you shown very good diagram, but I am nothing visible. It's you'll be like, the pattern will come like this. Since it'll be dark, no, so here you get one. I think even 2, 3 also will not be visible. Only few. I am showing many, it will not be visible. Like this will get, you don't get pattern like this. Huh? It's a ideal. Practically what happened is a Fresnel diffraction. No? So it'll be like this. So since a laser gun, red color laser gun is used. So we'll get a central maxima, first dark minima, first maxima, second minima. Like this we'll get it. Different. Even this much big will not be there. Very, very small, tiny. Exactly at this particular point. And you vary this you make it fixed. The lower one you make it fixed here. This is movable. As you move up, so you can see only this. So according to linear propagation, if a light passes through it, what do you expect? We expect only this one, no? We just expect only this one. the light will pass through this narrow, this gap, and the gap will act like a slit. So according to the ray optics, we just expect this. Why do this? Why do this? So these are all what they are. Maxima, minima. Shall I say that in fact the diffraction occurred, no? And this is the central maxima. So as you increase the width of the slit here, as you increase the gap, this will disappear. No central maxima here. Secondary maxima, minima. Disappears as we increase the width of gap. So these are the blades, no? Okay, fine. So this, in fact, everyone you can try. So once if you confirm yourself, so will it supports ray optics? This will support ray optics. Light propagates straight line. Okay, sir, it will form that one. The light in fact starts bending. Why do it bending? Because of diffraction. So once you see this and confirm as the light will bend, diffraction occurs, then we can enter into mathematics. So without all this visualization, not possible for any student to really understand what it is. And as you vary the width of this gap between the blades, what happens? The pattern will change again. So secondary maximas, minimas for certain width, what happens? They disappear completely, not visible. Okay, there's a one, it's a very beautiful one. In fact, if students do this, they can understand that very clearly. Otherwise, on paper, not possible. So maybe what happened, you are gathering information. That's all, nothing, you are not learning anything. So gathering information and knowing realization of certain topic and knowing certain topic are totally different in science. Gathering information and realization is totally different here. So you do experiment. So what you should do? So to go to the room, switch off all lights, windows, put curtains, it'll become dark. So have a set of razors, take cardboard, fix them. One is mobile. So make it fixed here. So you take any family member into the room, ask them to hold this, you focus the laser. So the pattern will become that one. As upper one, if you slightly shift up this, as you slightly shift up, these things, they'll disappear. And as you narrow the gap, you can see the pattern will become more and more clearer. That also will be there. Will become more well-defined. Of course, whatever you do will not get a sharp one, but to some extent, things will get visible, that one. So in fact, it will spread like this. So the spreading is there. The spreading is nothing but due to diffraction. Finish over. Ray optics means, according to ray optics, what do you expect? You expect how much gap is there, no? So we expect only this much here. That's all, no? So this should be our according to ray optics. If we know ray optics, so what is the width of this one? That much is what the pattern, this is what we expect here, but we see like this. So therefore it's not a ray optics. So no way ray optics can explain this. So what shall I do? I'll go for diffraction. So there's a main core idea. This one, the pattern is there. Now we are to bring a suitable mathematics to explain this pattern. Are you getting now? Interference, we started with what? Mathematics, we came to pattern. But here what happened? We have a pattern in the hand. We see practically like this. Then I'll go for, so this one, I'll bring the suitable mathematics to explain. So what we are discussing now, the Fraunhofer only, not Fresnel. In NCERT book, he has not shown that lens. Here I'm going to bring the lens. Who will produce this particular thing? I'll keep a point source. I'll have a lens here. It will produce this parallel beam. The parallel beam of light is incident on a slit. Here I'll bring one more lens so that the pattern will be obtained on the screen and we can easily visualize it. So there's nothing but the Fraunhofer diffraction. What all our syllabus is a Fraunhofer. Books open, they're given only this much. Don't think it's a Fresnel. It's a Fresnel. The lens here, they have not shown. Agreed? In NCERT book, if you open, no, they didn't show this lens. I'm going to introduce a lens and I'll explain it. So they become Fraunhofer and very easy for us. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue. You have to experiment. I'm telling this one. Otherwise, you are missing something very, very good thing. What you can really notice here. If you keep one more blade here nearby, no, two gaps here, you can see YDSC pattern. First you do for one, then you can try for two. Tomorrow I'll continue from here. Just only today, like introduction. Okay, thank you all of you. Thank you all of you. Take care, bye, see you. Okay, bye, see you all of you.